My name is Stefanie Mesteth. I'm Oglala Lakota from Pine Ridge, South Dakota. I have grandparents in Oglala, South Dakota, which is where I call home, and I currently live at Oceti Sakowin.
How long have you been here?
I've been here since the 3rd of August. We started off in the Sacred Stone camp before this camp was created, and my family was part of help creating this camp, and I've been on the front lines pretty much ever since.
Wow, from the very beginning, when things really started to kick off.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what was the reason for forming the new camp, and your reason for coming over here?
The reason we formed the new camp is that when things did start really happening, and they were decided to block the easement and arrests were being made, the community asked for more support, and they got confirmation from the tribes in South Dakota that they were coming 200 strong, or 300 strong, 200, another one was 200 strong, and they validated and confirmed it that this is what was happening. So they expected at least 700 to come in 2 to 3 days, which they did.
Wow.
And the original camp at Sacred Stone across the Cannonball, there was just no way that camp could house or hold that many people, so they needed another spot to house them, and they decided to choose this spot. Not only was it a big enough spot for them to house them, and it was close to the front lines where everything was happening, but it was also unceded treaty land, which is in the possession of the Corps of Engineers. So we kind of took over it, occupied it in the beginning, and I heard we have permits for it, but I've never seen them. So I heard we're legal, we're within legal parameters to be here now, or the camp is. But in the beginning, we were told when this camp starts, there's a high possibility of being arrested, that they wouldn't want this camp to be started at all, and that they could come and remove us.
Do you still think that's a danger?
No, I don't. Honestly, I do not think that would be a danger. With everything happening on the front lines and the violence that happens and ensues, the camp is probably the one thing that they will not mess with, or so I believe.
Knock, knock. It's T.
Hey T, we're in here. I'm interviewing her.
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I won't interrupt. Joe said come see the stove. Awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome setup, huh?
Yeah. What time do you leave?
As soon as I can. Yeah.
Can I give you a hug in the middle of the interview?
Are you just here right now?
I'm going to this action thing, whatever.
Yeah. Hug. Hug, sweetie.
So good to hang out.
I'm sorry I didn't get you singing.
I know, me too. Sounds like y'all were at the casino till late last night.
Yeah.
I was sleeping in the 2P2.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. I seen her bed. Did you like your bed?
What?
Did you like your bed?
Thank you. Yeah, I loved it. It was awesome.
Awesome. So, don't get arrested.
I'll try. People are waiting for me, so I'm gonna go, but I'll try. Later.
Be safe.
Yep.
I'm a sweetheart. Okay, so you don't think that that they're gonna remove this camp like they did the treaty camp?
No.
Yeah.
No, because this is not in direct path of their proposed, what is it, the pipeline?
Yeah. And it hasn't been deemed private property either.
No.
It's Corps land.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a different set of rules. It's also my understanding that the folks from Indigenous Environmental Network are working with the Corps of Engineers, and at one point there was a letter stating that they wanted to remove people from here, and then that letter was rescinded.
Oh, really?
Once they started working with the Army Corps of Engineers, yeah. So, definitely they wouldn't, logistically, it would be a lot harder for them to do.
Yeah.
Way harder, because it's a way bigger camp.
Right.
I mean, how many people are here right now? It's a lot. It's way bigger than I possibly imagined.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
this one camp. And it's like one of three?
Three.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the other one is Sacred Stone, where it all started. And then there's, what's the other one? That's right in between.
Sichong camp.
The Sichongo camp, yeah. And that's where the youth council and all that is. Yeah. And they're right within the lines of the reservation.
Yes.
Yeah. On the other side. Yeah. So have you been arrested yet, or have you?
Yes, I was arrested in one of the mass arrests in the very beginning. Not in the very beginning, but it was October 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
And we had marched like 2 miles out, and we were on the path of the pipeline. We were trespassing at that moment or whatever. I don't know what they want to call it, but we were just trying to go and pray. And a group of protectors went around on private land. That wasn't the land that they were doing the pipeline on, and just followed it down, probably about 2 acres down, and then they seen the machinery moving, and that's where they had stopped to pray, and they were still on one side of the fence, which wasn't the DAPL property, and I guess they came into Mace. As soon as they reached the fence line or their destination, they just started receiving mace. They didn't even get a chance to get settled to pray or nothing. As soon as their group got there, they were getting maced, and it just turned into some. And as they were told to leave, and so they were coming back, the police cut the fence and went on that property and surrounded them, and then mass arrested them. Then told us on top, because there was elders and children and different ones with our group that couldn't make it down that big steep hill and across the way where they were at. So they told us as long as we kept walking and kept going, we were allowed to leave. We were allowed to walk back to the camp and go back to Highway 1806. And so we were. Everybody was walking, just everybody. And I was one of the ones in the end. I let Chuck take some grandmas ahead, and he was like, "Oh, you guys?" Said, "Yeah, but I'm gonna make sure everybody's out." And another girl that could actually run was actually running the perimeter, running around, making sure that everybody was out of the area. And I just kept walking. That was like, I think I maybe been the very last one, and they said as long as we kept walking, don't even look back, just walk to the highway and we're not going to arrest you. As soon as they got the bigger group contained and arrested, they just swooped right through and started arresting us. They seemed to leave alone the elders and the ones that looked handicapped or disabled or any issues like that. They seemed to have left them alone, but the rest that looked healthy and young, they even tackled someone. Apparently they just came running right up behind a young man and tackled him. People seen him, he was holding his mother, and they just took him out. Boom, took him down to the ground, and he was just walking with his mother, trying to leave with them, leave to the highway. And there was just no reason for them to. And with me, they had flew past me and then stationed themselves, and I was like, okay, they said as long as I keep walking. So I kept walking, but right when I was getting to where those cop cars were, one of the police officers that had known me from several of the other rallies and front lines came straight at me, and he scanned the crowd, and when he seen I was walking by, he was like, you're under arrest, and he just came straight at me, and he cuffed my hand so tight that it cut into my skin.
Oh my God.
That they couldn't get it off. So what they did was they used trauma shears from an ambulance to get it cut off, because it was cutting into my skin and it was bleeding.
Oh my God.
And there's still, that's the scar from it. but I have nerve damage from it. This is all numb, and I burnt myself here, not knowing I was even being burnt because I couldn't.
Because you couldn't feel it. Jesus.
So yeah, I think like that's almost worse than that. But
Yeah.
it's because of this that I can't feel. This is all numb. The back of my hands all numb. So.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Ow.
Yeah.
So, will you seek legal?
We have. Right now, there's a legal team that has been taking written statements and affidavits and stuff, and I guess there's supposedly going to be a mass lawsuit, or could possibly be a mass lawsuit from all the mistreatment and the things that have happened. I was released at 6 o'clock in the morning that Sunday, and I believe only because I was sick. I had my medication with me. I took it with me. I had it on me. But they withheld it from me both times that they should have given it to me at the jail. And the medication I have, if I don't get it within 2 hours of my time, I start having symptoms of like withdrawal. I start my nerves just start twitching, and my muscles will, twitch because of it, and I'll start sweating, and I feel sick, and I just... it's ugly, and I didn't know what it was, why I would feel that way until someone said, you're actually withdrawing from that medicine. Your body is surviving off of that medicine. When you don't have it, you're going down. You obviously keep yourself on it. And I said, yes, I do. I keep myself on my medicine the way I'm supposed to 3 times a day. And I do notice that, like, within an hour of me needing to take it, the pain, because it's... What it does is it suppresses my brainstem and shuts down a part of my central nervous system to stop the nerve pain that's associated with the stuff in my back, with the rods, pins, and plates within my back. So that's what that medicine does. And without it, my body starts twitching, and it starts sending weird signals start going all over. Even like little cut on my finger from years ago will just start hurting like no other. And as soon as I take my medicine, then that nerve pain and the nerve pain that my legs have, that it all calms down. My feet calm down. But when it doesn't, I don't have it, or it's really good. I just get sick. And they did that to me twice. They put me through that twice. That second time it was worse, and because not only that is my blood sugar was low, and they said I still had to wait for breakfast, and he was like, oh, she's not gonna die, or one of the girls said she could die by then, because it was like 25 minutes to breakfast, and my blood sugar was 73, and she was like, she could die by then, and he was like, oh, as if, and he left. So we come to find out the lawyers had prioritized myself and another diabetic as 1 and 2 to be released. They wanted us out of there as soon as possible. They bonded me out, promised to appear. They didn't even wait for the lawyer's money to post on my case. I was so sick that second round that I think that jailer was just, I'm just releasing him. And he must have been in charge because he was able to sign the paperwork. And he said, you're out. You're going now. Just we're gonna get you your stuff. You're gonna get you your medicine, and you just go now. So they just shuffled me right on out. The other one was a diabetic that's insulin dependent, and she was actually prioritized number 1 over me, and they ended up leaving her in there. She was the very last one to get out.
Oh my God!
And when she got out, her blood sugars were really high, so she was kind of sick, and it took, sickly for a couple days, because that's what it does to us,
Yeah.
We have our highs and lows, and it just drains us, like zaps us. So we've been through that. Others have been through way worse. Then
there was word about them putting hoods on people. Is that true?
I heard about that. I don't know who. I haven't talked to anybody personally that I've met that it's happened to. So.
Yeah. I think it came from one particular photograph that Morton County Sheriffs had posted themselves of somebody arrested with a hood on. But nobody I've spoken to actually knows that person themselves and has heard it firsthand, so haven't been able to verify. Yeah. So massive mistreatment all around.
Yeah.
but not unusual, because that's always
right.
how
Right.
the people are treated by the police. This is people are shocked when they see it. You know, average everyday Americans are like, "What?
That's still happening?"
Yeah, and it's an eye opener for a lot.
Yeah. A lot of people, they say, "Oh, you don't seem very shocked," and I said, "Well, I've lived with it a lot of, most of my life, majority of my life, I've seen different types of racism, from having guns pulled on me in the 70s, getting beat up over, race, or beat up because, like even other races, like I've lived in Denver and I had to fight a lot of black people. I seemed like no matter what community I went into, natives were the underdog. I was usually one of very few. So I grew up seeming to always have to fight and prove who I am, or where I come from, and violence was what we learned back in the 70s and early 80s. It seemed like the only thing, I ended up in high school in Portland, Oregon, and back then it was the Bloods and Crips emerging in the late 80s. And that was something. I went like from AIM, and then I went to the cities where it was a lot of the race of blacks against different, and then to Portland, Oregon, where the blacks had their own gangs, the Bloods and the Crips, and all of this was coming up from California up into Portland, Oregon, on up into Seattle. So I got to see all that emerge.
And the urban Indian, cut off from everything.
Oh yeah, yep.
That's not easy. So it must be a beautiful thing for you to see this commitment to nonviolence.
Oh yeah, it is. I really enjoy it. There was a point in my life where I knew I had to set that violence down. Where I grew up with it so much. When my son was 5 years old, I knew then that I didn't want to see him go. Who's that?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Stefanie.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you and camp with you.
Yes,
and
well,
get to know
thank you for coming. I really enjoyed meeting you, and I hope we get to talk again.